Hey guys, here's Stu. Yeah, it's been about 5 years since I did a regular sort of channel update. And the last time I did a Stu's Back on the Bench was in my old man cave in North Ascot. But as I had time on my hands and a few bits I hadn't gone over, some of it I may have, some of it I may haven't. I thought I'd give you a little update. So far, um, as you remember, I was going to do this Wessex, which had been on hiatus for about 5 years and stored away at my brother's. He kindly donated it back over to me, and I started cracking on with it again. Because obviously, I want to get back into my building, do what I can. I need to get a big display cabinet, obviously, to put my projects in. So I'm working around what I've got. I mean, I haven't got the bench I had before. I'm having to use the side of the dressing table here. I'm having my bed just to build at the moment. Um, I'm hoping to get a spray booth at some stage and a compressor maybe later. So I'm just basically doing an overall sort of channel update. So I think we will call this Stu's Back on the Bench. Um, for 2025 of October. I might do a few more. I don't know. It depends on the progress because obviously I'm not in a setting whereby I can give you a monthly update. So I thought I'd do one for a change about what projects I'm working on, what I've got in over the last few months in terms of decals because I've never really gone through that. And what I'm going to be doing an inbox review in very shortly, that sort of thing. So I just thought I'd give you a general sort of channel update, as it were. As you know, this was intended originally as part of a GB group build. Because the original project I was on, if you look back, the Phantom FG R2 unfortunately had a short shot on the fuselage. And I had a nightmare trying to get a replacement. So I ended up sort of putting that project on hold and then having it then diverting to this. And obviously I was in the process of getting the interior done and then COVID hit. I was forced to move out of my property, unfortunately, due to well, let's just say a rather unreasonable landlord I was living with then. And then it ended up moving here to Bracknell. So it's been a while since I got into my builds because I've obviously been waiting a suitable moment to get back into them. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I missed my modelling. I'm going to get back on this project. So it's still ongoing. And as you remember, I was originally going to do this as a Wessex, which you got on the decal sheet here, based at RAF Odium. Actually, that's not the one. It's in the sheet, but there we go. Is this the one? Yes, this is the one at the bottom here. And I was going to do it in that scheme, but I found that there were subtle differences in the aircraft and I was going to modify it as such. Then Airfix released the very version that was actually based at Odium, the HC2, which I must admit does look a fantastic looking kit, and I've seen some of the way it's built up. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get the Airfix one eventually and build it into the HC2 and have it in the markings as you see here. So we've had a slight change on the project. I'm going to keep it as an HU5. And as you can see here, I've virtually put all the, if I can get this to focus, I've put all the antennae wires, well, fences on here. As you can see, they're all fitted now. I've put the steps in. That was a hell of a fiddly job yesterday, I can tell you. And obviously, if you remember, if I take the canopy off, oh, if this thing gets into focus. I used an Eduard etch brass set just to super detail the cockpit, and obviously I scratch built the interior of the Wessex itself from reference photos and used an Eduard seatbelt set for the troop seats there. And it came out really well. And obviously I've got an etch brass set which I'm going to put if I get this thing in there, I've sanded that down because I'm going to put a little grill in there. I was going to cut these out and the grills here, but I thought, you know what, it's too much hassle, leave it. So what I'm intending to do is carry on with that, put all the lumps and bumps on this kit in the next few weeks, get to a stage where I can prime it. But the only thing is, on the bottom of this canopy here, I don't know if you can make it out, there's a control panel. Now at the moment I don't have any paints, so until I get some paints in I won't be able to mask that off and get that painted. So there's not much I can do in that, so it's going to get to a stage where I'm going to have to put it back on hold on the project. Now the version I've chosen to build it as is an HU5. And I managed to get hold of this decal set, which was on eBay, and I got it for about £7. And believe it or not, it does actually feature the Wessex HU5. So the version, you've got various versions you can do it in. You can do it in the Commando version, which was based on the Hermes in 75. Another one which was based at Coldrose in the early camouflage scheme in 67. You've got one that was based on the old Bulwark in 69. Now I did debate on doing that one, and obviously you've got another overall Commando version which was based again at Coldrose. I think it was, no, it wasn't, it was Exercise Cook Street, West Malaya 1970, as well as, if I can get the sheet out, if you'll bear with me. Another version based on the Hermes, as well as one at Coldrose with the sort of blue-grey and the fluorescent red on either side as an air sea rescue aircraft. Now, I was thinking of possibly doing this. I will do, but I've actually won another Wessex of this kit on eBay, so I'll probably do that as that version. So the one I've settled on is going to be this one. It's going to be 845 Naval Air Squadron, which was based on Hermes in 75. So that's the version. Because admittedly, I might not do the high vis roundel, because you do have an option of doing the low vis. So I may well do the low vis version. If I can find the decal sheet, because it's in the bag here. Bear with me, guys. I'm prepared as always. You know what I'm like. He says. Let's get the decal sheet. And the decals do look fairly decent, actually. Because you can do it as another aircraft there. And these are the decals. They're a little bit shiny. Now what I'm probably going to use is this roundel here, to be honest with you, because that's the one I remember the most of. So I'll do that in around about sort of circa 79, I would say 80. So that's the version I'm going to do. I must admit the decals do look a bit shiny, but they've got the relevant crests on here for the ship's crest, etc. So I'm happy with that, and it really sort of looks as the bog standard sort of Commando variant of the Wessex. So that's the version I'm going to do it in. Just think it's going to add a nice bit of variety in the cabinet as well. I don't know about you, it's just something iconic about the old Wessex. That familiar sound with the Rhone gas turbo engine that it had on it as well. So that's what we're going with, guys, you know. As I say, I'm going to get to a stage where I can't do any more on it. I'm probably going to assemble the rotor blades and the tail blades, and then leave it at that. As regards Arthur Shelby, well, not much progress on that either. Again, as I say, he's still in his primer, still on the stand, etc. So there's not much progress to that. I'm just waiting to get the paints in so I can start painting him up, really. So that's that, really, as regards the projects. So I'm just going to take them off now. And what I will be doing as an inbox review, sorry, I'm just going to move the model very delicately so I don't break it. And move Arthur. No, it's not Arthur, it's Thomas Shelby, isn't it? Beg your pardon. Yeah, it's Thomas Shelby. Again, it's a beautiful sculpt, and I really can't wait to get cracking on this. I really can't. So those are my two ongoing projects at the moment. In terms of inbox reviews, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an inbox review of this kit soon, because I'm actually thinking of starting to get all the aircrafts that were involved in the Battle of France and also the Battle of Britain, because obviously 85 years this year since the Battle of Britain took place, and I think it was the end of this very month that the battle actually ceased, because basically Hitler postponed any plans to invade us, and then obviously the next year he started focusing on Russia. So there you go. In terms of kits that I've got in over the last few months, obviously I've got a couple of classic fighters. I've got this one. Sorry about the box being a bit torn up. I did try and get the label off. This is a version that was an early version of the Hurricane Mark 1 based in France. So hence the Battle of France thing. And this was an early Treble 1 Squadron Hurricane. So again, it's the twin-bladed de Havilland prop version. Both lovely little kits, and they look superbly detailed. Kudos to Airfix, they really have come on strong. I know these are only little 70-second kits, and I'm normally into 48, but it's a case of space, you know what I mean? And then obviously recently I unveiled the fact that I'd actually got a couple of airliners in. This being one of them. I've got the Viscount somewhere, but I've stowed it away. And this was one of them, which is Comet 4B of BEA Air Tours. So that will be a future project, because that's going to be part of my British Heritage, British Airways Heritage builds. So that's something in the offing as and when I get back on full time. Also, believe it or not, I also got in the Vanguard. Believe it or not, this box has actually got two kits in one, so I've got two for the price of one. So that's not bad, is it? And obviously I'll be doing them in the markings of BEA and British Airways. One red tail and one Speedjack version. And obviously later on I'll get the old Negus scheme version as well. And that's going to be a British Airways Heritage build as well. An old classic I had, but I didn't. I had in for some time and then sold it on, but I've managed to get back in again. Is this one, which recently came through the other week, which is the old Vintage Classics Westland Whirlwind HAS 22. Not much to it, so I'm going to see if I can get some aftermarket and build it up. I do have some aftermarket decals, so I could do a few versions of that. I might get another one of these in if it's available. However, Italeri have just released the Chickasaw, and you can do it as a version of the early Whirlwind. And I am actually looking for a conversion set to do it in the latter mark, which I think was the HAS Mark III with a longer nose. But I haven't had much success, so I might look on the Whirlybird circuit and see if there's anything on there. Okay. And, well, finally, as regards kits, saw this one at a bargain price, had to get it, because you know I'm a big Star Wars nut. The only thing is with this kit is you see these things that are open here with the fusion ports, they're closed. So how I'm going to get around that, I don't know. I might have to get some plastic card and just score it and take it out. But the only problem is there's no interior on the kit. So if I were to do an interior, I'd have to scratch build it. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do on that one, because it's not as detailed as the Bandai kit I built ages ago, if you remember. So that's the go in terms of kits. Now, I've been collecting a series of decals over the last few months, and I'm just going to go through the sheets of them that I've got for you. So we're going to start with 144 and then possibly go on to 148. So let's just root through them. Right, here we go. As you well know, in the last video I got this set in for a 1144th Dakota. Again, this is going to be part of my British Airways Heritage builds, because obviously BEA and British British Overseas Airways Corporation basically merged in 1974 to become British Airways. So yeah, this is going to be an ongoing project as and when I can get a 1144th DAC, and I know that Minicraft have plenty online, so I may well get one of them in. Now, in terms of the turbo version, not quite sure if there's a conversion set out there. If anybody knows, just put a note of it or a link in the comments column, and I will follow that up. So there you go. So that's the first set. Now, also I'm going to get in a DC-7C, but I'm going to do one in a different set of markings, because I noticed this one on the film North by Northwest, where Cary Grant is talking to another actor as they were at an airport. And I just thought it's such an iconic, colourful colour scheme of the airliners of that period. I decided to get this set for a Northwest Airlines DC-7C. It's just a striking colour scheme. So no Minicraft do the Stratocruiser as well, so I may well get the Stratocruiser in as well as that, and they'll look good side by side. So there you go on that one. Next one up is a very iconic British aircraft of the 1960s, and it only actually finished service with the Royal Air Force in about 2000 and was it 4 or 5? I can't remember. And it is, of course, the British Airways. This is the BOAC standard VC10 set by 26 Decals. Well, this was the last set, and I managed to snap it up, so I'm glad I did, because there are plenty of the old Airfix standard VC10s out there on eBay. Admittedly, some of them are ridiculous prices, but I am hoping next year, as part of their Vintage Classics range, that Airfix will reintroduce the Vickers VC10, because it's such an iconic airliner. And then, believe it or not, it was my favourite all-time airliner apart from Concorde. And I remember seeing these birds in this scheme when I was a nipper. So, and some of them being air tested at the old Wisley Aerodrome as well. I just love this colour scheme. It's just an iconic scheme. Just shows off the smooth, elegant lines of the VC10. So there you go. And I'm hoping later to get the Rodin Super version of it. And as you well know from my previous video, I managed to get in the original colour scheme for the Boeing 707 BOAC aircraft from S&M Decals, and this one set was up for an auction on eBay, and I managed to win it for about £12. So that's not bad, is it? So that will go as part of the heritage build of British Airways, and because the VC-10 is a favourite aircraft of mine, I managed to get some other colour schemes as well. This being a very iconic one, the Gulf Air one. I think I vaguely remember seeing this at Heathrow Airport back in the day. So that will make a nice colourful option. And, of course, the old Ghana Airways. I do remember seeing that parked up in one of the hangars at their main engineering shed one time, because they still maintained them for the airline. Yeah, it's a lovely colour scheme. And then finally, we've got this one, Caledonian BUA hybrid scheme. Again, it just looks so iconic in that colour scheme. So there you go. And then finally, I'm hoping to get some Mark 1 111, Super 111s in, and they actually do a set of decals. So I managed to get hold of this set of BEA and BA schemes through the ages, which is absolutely handy because obviously I want to get 4 of these aircraft and do them in separate schemes as part of the British Airways Heritage builds I'm going to be doing sometime in the future. So this again was the last one, so I managed to snap it up in an auction. Now we're moving on to, I think, which will be 172nd, and I've managed to get a few of these because I want to do a few aircraft through the ages that were based at RAF Lakenheath, because obviously I watched the Ted Coningsby channel and Big Jet TV and their broadcasts from Lakenheath, which are always so busy and so spectacular. So I managed to get hold of a decal sheet by Extra Decal of all the F-15s that are based or were based there. I've even got that iconic D-Day scheme there. So I'm looking forward to building them. They've even got the C model, obviously, which has now been replaced by the F-35A, which I did have a kit Revell with, but obviously I had to sell that, but I'll probably get that one in again. I do love the F-15. It's just such a beautiful aircraft, and then just the performance when it takes off. Wow, that full reheat. So I've got that. And then obviously I've got some more decals for the old F100s. Some of the aircraft on that are based at former RAF Wethersfield, but you've actually got the iconic marking decal set there for an F100, which was based at Lakenheath. And then I've got another set from Extra Decal as well, because you've also got the camo version for the early 70s to the mid 70s, and you could even do a Dutch bird there as well. So I've got that. And finally, 172nd, the aircraft that was in service before the old F111, the F4D Phantom, which also was based at Lakenheath. So I'll probably be doing a series of heritage builds from Lakenheath as well. So there you go. Finally, we're on the last home run. We've got a couple of decal sets here. This one I bought about 6-7 months ago. It's the Extra Decal set for 148th Spitfire Mark 1s. And also you can do the actual markings for the prototype. As Airfix have actually reissued the early Mark 1, I may well build that as the prototype K5054. And there's the quality of the decals. They do look really nice, and I'm sure they'll bed down well. So there you go. And finally, I got a 148th sheet of Hawker Hurricanes, which basically was the underdog of the battle, because this aircraft was more numerous than the Spit and actually took the brunt of the battle. And I'll have to say, out of the two, the Hurricane is my favourite. And it was the first monoplane fighter to enter Royal Air Force service as well in 1937, I think it was. And you've got the distinctive markings there of aircraft schemes. And particularly the reason I bought this one was because it's actually got Squadron Leader Barda's markings LED on there with the little comic. Where is it? I can't remember. Yeah, you see where Hitler's getting the boot, which was on the nose of his aircraft. So this is the principal reason I bought it, was basically because it had Douglas Bader's Hurricane on there. And as we all know from the film Reach for the Sky, he was the well-known legless air ace who actually thought of the idea of the big wing during the Battle of Britain. He didn't fight throughout the Second World War. Unfortunately, he was shot down in 1941, and he had to actually pull himself out. His artificial leg got stuck, and he had to unstrap himself from it. And what the Air Force did was actually dropped a spare one during a bombing raid, so he basically get back on his bins again. He did actually escape a few times, and he ended up in Colditz for the rest of the war. but he was a real trooper. He never gave up, and he actually became the Queen Mother's best friend. And my father had the privilege of actually meeting him at a service station once, so there you go. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. That's this Stu's Back on the Bench, the first in 5 years. I may well do another one at some stage. When, I don't know. But most certainly you'll get the inbox review of this is your Ferry Battle. So that one, aircraft, I am actually particularly looking forward to it because I just think it's such an iconic looking aircraft. It wasn't very successful as a bomber, but it was used as a training aircraft at Target Tough through most of the war. So there you go. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Until the next time, get kit crazy. Happy modelling. Stay safe, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers.